All right, join me on page 314 in your science textbook. Follow along. What kinds of volcanic landforms are there? No two volcanoes are exactly alike. Volcanoes differ in the kinds of materials they eject, in the intensity and frequency of eruptions, and in the types of landforms that result. There are three main kinds of landforms created by volcanic eruptions. One kind is a cinder cone volcano, a volcano mainly made up of small rock particles or cinders. As erupting lava shoots into the air, it breaks into small fragments that cool and harden as they fall back to the ground. These fragments pile up around the vent, forming a small cone with steep sides. Paracutin in Mexico is an example of a cinder cone volcano. It began in a cornfield, and within a year it had reached a height of 450 meters or 1,500 feet. Wow, that's incredible. A second kind of volcanic landform is a shield volcano. A shield volcano is made up of layers of lava rocks. As liquid lava flows out at the surface from a vent, it spreads out in all directions. The lava eventually cools and hardens into rock. Successive layers of lava rock build up to form a volcano with broad, gently sloping sides. Its dome shape resembles an outward surface of a shield carried by ancient warriors. And you could see the kind of side views of a composite, that's a composite and a shield volcano. You see how a shield volcano is much flatter and wide. Okay, continuing on page 315. Shield volcanoes are some of the world's largest volcanoes. The largest is Mauna Loa in Hawaii. Thousands of overlapping lava flows have raised this mountain to an elevation of 4,170 meters, or 13,680 feet above sea level. Measured from its base on the ocean floor to its highest point, Mauna Loa is taller than Mount Everest, the world's tallest landform. The third kind of volcanic landform is a composite volcano, a landform made up of layers of lava flows alternating with layers of ash, cinders, and rocks. These layers form symmetrical cones with steep sides that are concave or curving inward. Many composite volcanoes are higher than 2,740 meters, 9,000 feet from their bases. Mount Pelee in the island of Martinique in the Caribbean is an example of a composite volcano. When it erupted in 1902, it destroyed the town of St. Pierre. Only a few of St. Pierre's thousands of inhabitants survived. Another example is Mount Vesuvius. This volcano erupted in AD 79, causing the destruction of Pompeii and Herculaneum in what is now Italy. And we read that story earlier in the year about that volcanic eruption. Okay, turning the page to page 316. How do eruptions differ? In some cases, volcanoes erupt in violent explosions. In other cases, lava simply flows out slowly and quietly. There are also examples of volcanoes that erupt in ways that lie between these two extremes. Some lava flows move as quickly as a car speeding down a highway. Others move more slowly than a person strolling through a park. Scientists who study volcanoes classify eruptions according to their violence. The different types of eruptions are named for the places where they typically occur or have typically occurred. Hawaiian eruptions, named for the volcanoes in the Hawaiian Islands, are the least violent type. Highly liquid lava generally flows out slowly and builds up shield volcanoes. Lava rock may be formed as the lava cools and hardens. Strombolian eruptions are named for a volcanic island off the coast of Italy. Thick magma accumulates in the vent and builds up pressure that is released, emitting fragments that pile up into cinder cones. Strombolian eruptions occur frequently and are fairly gentle because pressure is released gradually. Volcanic eruptions take their name from volcano, a volcano near the island of Sicily. Volcanic eruptions typically begin with huge, loud explosions, followed by smaller ones. Ash, dust, and other volcanic materials are blown into the air. Okay, 317. The most violent volcanic eruptions are called Pilean, named for Mount Pelee in the Caribbean. Gases trapped in sticky magma build up tremendous pressure. As pressure is released, tons of rock and ash are thrown into the air as parts of the mountain are blown away. Clouds of hot, poisonous gases rush down from the vent. The 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens in Washington state was a Pilean eruption. Scientists also classify volcanoes according to how often they erupt. A volcano may be considered active, intermittent, dormant, or extinct. Active volcanoes erupt constantly. Intermittent volcanoes erupt at fairly frequent intervals. Dormant volcanoes have become inactive, but people are not certain that they will not erupt again. Dormant is from the French word for sleep. Volcanoes that have not erupted within recorded history are considered extinct. All right, thanks again for watching, and follow along, and you can continue in your Google Classroom answering the questions and watching the BrainPop videos and taking those quizzes. All right, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.